Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we have a somewhat disappointing tale to go and talk about. As you guys may or may not have remembered, we actually had a really big game with the biggest conspiracy theory you could probably go and think of when it comes to who was making it, who was kind of developing the game, how cool the game was going to be. And if you guys are not kind of getting what I'm saying, it was essentially rumored to go be Silent Hill. Now, this is actually in regards to the abandoned game, which if you guys maybe remember, there's like a huge controversy around it with the Blue Box Game Studios and people thinking it was Kojima, and they were memeing on Twitter, and they had like Hills, aka Silent Hills, and all that stuff put together, which actually amassed to a lot of publicity, a lot of Twitter followers, and as well, a lot of people seemingly hyped up for the game. Now, when it comes to games out like this, they kind of turn into an absolute complete disaster. This is kind of what we want to go talk about for this, because as of right now, they're making their way once again back into the news, and people at this point are pretty much sick of hearing about it, sick of being essentially scammed, and as well just disappointed on the lack of, well, anything they did. So we want to go talk about this, talk about one of the biggest disappointments as well, and the fact that they're even trying to still show their faces is coming out somewhat on the sadder side. So we have a lot of stuff to go talk about, so make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on, as well for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway. Amazon links down below for the PS5 digital console and controller. Twitter and Twitch stream as well, linked down below. Sign up for Weeble, deposit $100, get a bunch of free stock and free money. Same with that Coinbase too as well, and let's get into the business. So, as I've kind of mentioned before, there's actually a game called Abandoned. This is basically a hyped PlayStation 5 game. It's supposed to be a horror game, and as well, a lot of people thought it was going to be better than it was. Like, a lot of people were expecting it was like a Kojima game, and like, you know, a spiritual successor to Silent Hill, which probably would have been one of the hypest games imaginable, especially with just how much promotion, how much, like, you know, chaining going on. And as well, if you guys ever remember Death Stranding, there's always been like little bits and pieces of puzzles for Kojima. He's kind of an intriguing guy where he'll like set up basically fake Twitter accounts and set up like weird trailer things and like just do a lot of really weird things to get people hyped up, and it's almost kind of like an internet puzzle piece. But sadly, this ended up not being related to Kojima, not being in regards to it, and as well, also a pretty big disappointment. So the hyped PlayStation 5 game, as we mentioned, Abandoned, basically everyone keeps on thinking has essentially not been canceled. Apparently, the devs totally swear. Now, hopefully you guys can see like just that little baby hint of sarcasm where the devs are totally saying it's totally not canceled, totally, although the roadmap is still to this date not even been close to being seen and followed. So, developer Blue Box Game Studios said it underestimated the development roadmap for the still unseen game. And I want to remind you guys, this was supposed to come out months ago. We have not seen anything. The only thing we've actually had a chance to see is like a trailer, and even then was just basically a bunch of assets, and that was about it. So, if you thought the mysterious survival horror game Abandoned by Blue Box Game Studios couldn't get even more enigmatic, wait until you hear this. The game was now thrust back into public consensus this week, which is why we're going to talk about ourselves, and not in a good way, too. But not because the developer had anything to show off, which they should have done this months ago, if you guys remember. They actually were supposed to have a whole experience, and then they had issues, and then radio silence. So basically, information was quietly removed from the studio's Twitter account, leading to rumors that the still unseen project was officially, as of now, canceled. But apparently, even though everyone kind of thought it was, like, they haven't followed the roadmap, they haven't released anything, and essentially at the end of the day, like, people are like, well, this is probably just not gonna ever happen if we just haven't seen any updates on it. Apparently now the Abandoned isn't actually canceled, but just more so changed. According to the studio founder Hassan Karaman, and this game saga gives basically even the writer and myself included horrendous whiplash. So basically, in case you guys forgot this, kind of as I mentioned at the start of the video, Abandoned was supposed to be Blue Box Game Studios' debut game for the PlayStation 5, a first-person survival horror shooter of some kind announced as of last April, and folks thought the project was somehow connected to Hideo Kojima in Silent Hill, as I covered before, because of the game's marketing. But that evidently actually turned out to be false, and Kamaran came out to reveal that Abandoned had nothing to do with Silent Hill, and he wasn't Kojima in disguise, although I kind of still wish he was, because I would absolutely love a brand new Silent Hill game. Since this initial confusion and reveal a year ago to this day now, information now about Abandoned, even including the Baron PS5 app, has been sent. Which, by the way, they did want to hype up and didn't mention a PS5 app, which still has not happened at all. Which, if you guys want to give your thoughts and comments down below, feel free to. But this is just like, it's just hype, I guess. But it's not even good hype anymore. It's kind of like, what do you do in hype, you know? So now on the present itself. Basically, Twitter user Noted Souls, YouTuber Lance McDonald tweeted actually on March 31st that Blue Box deleted most tweets. So basically, as of now, they're trying to wipe clean their social media, describing specific future plans for Abandon. So basically, like, they're like, hey, we're going to have the best game ever. Deleted. Hey, we're going to have like this awesome horror game. Deleted. Hey, the game is coming out. Deleted. This apparently also included explanation for why the PS5 app, which still only contains a brief teaser, which should have already been out and should have already been updated months ago, from like what they themselves have said. And basically, it's supposed to have a demo that should be playable soon. It was also 5 gigabytes. Basically, this was all deleted as of now. This ratio led to industry to speculate about Abandon since Blue Box hasn't tweeted about the game since literally as of last December, as of months ago too as well. And then also apparently all changed because after people tweet about it and mention it in all their articles and stuff like that, brought it on up, then basically Blue Box actually was like responding. There's actually more to this than just this. So basically they had a post, basically a statement on Twitter clarifying that abandoned status, and then the studio said that the rumors of the game's cancellation were actually false, and claimed it's working on a reveal in Prologue 2 as well, which would be a standalone game with a low price tag, expected to last an hour or two for the PS5 app, but both have been delayed because the team underestimated its development roadmap. So first and foremost, that just sounds like the biggest scam. Think about this. Think about like you have like, say, let's maybe use Horizon as one of the more recent releases. You have Horizon or maybe Gran Turismo. And what basically a company would do is they'd be like, hey, we'll go and pay you $1, maybe not even $1, let's say $10, why not? Because these guys seem a little bit greedy. $10, but you can check out the first hour of the game, see if you like it, it should be pretty hype, you might enjoy it. Or even a better comparison is on Resident Evil, where if you guys remember back in their previous games, they did actually have a pretty intensive demo, especially for Resident Evil 7, where it was like an hour-long gameplay, there was like specific cutscenes, and kind of cool little nifty like introduction to the game itself, on the graphics and the game mechanics and everything else. And there's also a little bit of small little bits and pieces of also Easter eggs tied on in. Now, that was awesome and a very fun experience if you guys remember that, but it was also free. So it almost kind of seems like these guys are, I'm going to probably, in all honest to God, say scamming, because at the end of the day, this is kind of gross, because they were trying their best to go and charge on hype on an unreleased game, and they can't even go and have enough gameplay and enough development time because they keep on delaying it over and over and over again, as you guys can even see from this, where the PlayStation team has underestimated its development roadmap. So why on earth would anyone ever want to go give money to try and play a demo on a game that got really popular due to the fact that it was supposed to be tied with Kojima or Silent Hill, and then at the end of the day, none of that was false, or all that was false, and all the kind of alluding towards it, like their own hype marketing for it, was also just all a lie. Now, I'm never against people kind of utilizing that to their advantage and hyping up their own markets, but when they're also trying to go and now sell those false promises that have been on multiple times, and not even just on this game, they've also apparently have done this on other games too as well, where there's like 5 different other games where they kind of do this similar somewhat format of essentially selling you just a half-baked, like basically game that's just not finished, it's not done. So at this point, it almost kind of seems even more low effort. They're trying their best to go maybe sell you like a very, very basic hour or two, if even that, game to make money off of it, essentially for pre-ordering. And as you guys can probably go and guarantee and see, as they have basically been deleting tweets, deleting future roadmaps, and deleting everything else involving this, you're probably going to get scammed. This probably seems like one of the biggest PlayStation scams known to man, besides all the scammers up on Twitter and running fake websites trying to sell the console still. And it's really, really sad to go and see for this one too as well. So, I mean, a lot of people keep on saying that they're also like trying to go save face, thinking it was too announced, too soon, it's too ambitious, it's a personal project as well. But at the end of the day, I mean, there's always a chance. I will go give them the benefit of the doubt. There is always that small chance that that could be true, that it could be just trying their best, and maybe it's a big project. And you want to know what? Especially with how the pandemic is and how developed it is, I would give them that free pass. It's really hard to make games, and you want to know what? I would maybe take a chance of it if they did everything else, and if they did not have a previous issue, and if they did not also have like, trying to go sell a demo, and if this all would have been on time, maybe I would have given it a chance, and maybe I would have thought about it. But for my own personal things, I think it's a scam. I think early access games are a scam, and I think people who basically go and buy into those games and never get a fully released project, in my own opinion, you guys could always make your own, you usually kind of just assume that those games are not going to go anywhere. They're going to try their best to make as much money as they can possibly and go from there. So at the end of the day, too, we've also seen other various things, too, as well, where they're also saying, like, hey, do you guys want us to finally go and show development footage as well? And I feel like this should have been shown forever ago, especially because it should have been coming out many, many times as well. The reason why people haven't seen anything on the game yet, any development of the game yet, is simply because, described in one word, is that I'm scared. Carmen said, IGN, I'm not working for Ubisoft, I'm not working for a AAA publisher who tells me what to do, who basically tells me what game I should make. It's something personal. And it's development progress, and not everyone might get it, because gamers don't understand what in development means. Gamers don't care about that. So I kind of want to hear your thoughts and comments down below. I would want to see a reveal. I want to see if it's a scam or not. As of right now, it does kind of seem like it's a massive big scam based on all the prior information and everything else going on and the missed deadlines too. So as always, if they do release something, buyer beware. So give your thoughts and comments down below as well. Make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on as well for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway. Amazon links down below for the PS5 Digital Console Controller, Twitter and Twitch stream as well, link down below. And sign up for Webull, sign up for Coinbase, and I appreciate you guys all so much for watching. And I hope you guys all have a good rest of your days and rest of your nights. And I'll see you guys all tomorrow.